Vita VonStarr, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Doing great. How about you guys?
We're getting there. It's I think it's been a challenging year for everybody.
For sure. It's okay. We can leave it behind now, and
we can leave it behind. Yeah, ready to leave it in the past. Yeah,
totally.
Like we were saying, thank you for coming on today, because it's really cool to have you on, because we were only watching Final Battle the other day, and we feel like you were such a great part of it. Like you had a really good part to play, so it's going to be cool to speak to you about Final Battle. So starting on that, I mean, what's it been like for you the last few weeks with obviously getting ready for Final Battle and then the fallout from Final Battle?
I was really looking forward to it. Yeah, it's my 1-year anniversary actually with Ring of Honor, and we had a rough few months where a lot wasn't really going on. No one really knew what was going on, and then we've been doing tapings the last 6 months or so, 5 or 6 months, something like that, and I'm really grateful. I love working for Ring of Honor. I love the Righteous. I love everything about the faction. I love the angle. So it was I was definitely looking forward to it. I knew it was gonna be good. I knew it was gonna be violent, and had a great time.
So one of the best things in wrestling right now, I feel like, as a unit, you've been on the cusp of like really finding yourself. And at Final Battle, I think you really did that.
Thank you so much.
Before it was like a cool faction, but it was like the last ingredient needed, and I feel like that actually was done at Final Battle. Even down to like you holding, in the ropes with Mike Bennett. I thought that was awesome. The whole unit's just brilliant. So what's it been like for you working, with that group of people? What have you learned, and how has it been a fun experience for you?
It's been amazing. I love Vinny so much. He's an awesome dude. Bateman is awesome. We definitely gel creatively and artistically, and they're just fun to hang out with. We talk about serial killers and shit, horror movies. Like, I really couldn't have asked to be in a better faction, to be honest.
He's a huge horror movie buff, isn't he? We had the chance to speak to him earlier this year, and I was just blown away by how cool the dude he is. Like, he's just so laid back and loves his horror movies.
So chill. But the most violent people are always the most chill.
Right? I didn't expect it from him, to be honest. I've seen him on TV. I thought, he might be a bit like his character, and he is in a way. He's like, the horror movie stuff does kind of come through on the screen, but he's so nice as well.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, we get along great. I love hanging out with them, just even like outside of, working and doing Ring of Honor. They're just fun to hang out with. I love shooting promos and stuff. Yeah, it's chill.
Yeah, I've tweeted it out numerous times the last few days about how much I love the Righteous. Yeah. I mean, everything from the presentation to the theme music, everything about you guys is just. I said to Callum the other day, the best things for me in wrestling at the moment are the Righteous and Danhausen. They're the things that are
absolutely.
They're the things.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's hard not to like Danhausen.
Hey, you know what? He'd be a great fit, I reckon, in the Righteous.
Yeah, he's a different kind of evil than we are, but yeah, I feel like there could be something going on there for sure.
What kind of evil are you guys? Because he's a bit more of the wholesome, family-friendly evil. What kind of evil are you guys?
Yeah, we're more like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of evil. But...
Yeah.
Well, it's the fact that watching Final Battle when he won his match, and he went to the camera and he said, "Now pay me human money and send me sacks in a blimp." I was like, "That's it."
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yourself, obviously with the Righteous, is that an extension of you as well? Are you a big horror buff and things like that?
I am, yeah. I'm a huge horror fan. I always was a horror fan growing up. I I love the Evil Dead trilogy, and Dead Alive is like one of my favorite horror movies. I love gore. I love death metal. Anything like gore, it's just like a part of human nature, and some people like to repress it, and some people just embrace it. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I better not tell you that I used to work in a pathology lab then, and go in the mortuary and things like that. But,
I'm sure it's fascinating.
It's very fascinating. It really is. But I was doing a bit of research as well. But I mean, you actually, is it true you worked at a circus?
Yes. Circus is my shoot profession, actually, outside
awesome.
of wrestling. Yeah, I perform all different kinds of stuff. I do like corporate gigs. I do private parties, weddings, even. I'll do like big EDM festivals, like pretty much whatever. It's a good cross training for me as far as like wrestling, because I've never been scared of heights. I've never been scared to like do dangerous shit or throw myself off of things. So it kind of works hand in hand, and then it's big and showy, and
I mean, everyone always says they're very similar, the circus and wrestling, because wrestling really came from the circus originally.
Yeah, I mean, it was a sideshow act at one time. So yeah.
I love it. And now you're bringing circus strong style to the world, which I absolutely love. I've got to ask you as well. I mean, what's going on behind you then? What's all the skulls behind you?
Oh, this is just my chamber of horrors. It's not just a gimmick. So as we've been talking, so.
Yeah, I was having a look when you came on. I was like, that's one of the coolest backdrops we've had for an interview. That's really cool.
Right? I was like, might as well. It works.
I absolutely love it. I really do. We actually mind. We'll give him a quick shout out now. We've got a friend called Rivers who's starting. He's a big horror fan as well, and he's starting up a horror podcast at some point. And I know Vincent's going to go on. We'll have to get him to give you a follow as well. As I think you and him could probably talk forever.
I would love to. Yeah, definitely send him my way for sure.
We'll do it.
As well, speaking about previous guests, somebody I feel like would fit in really well with the Righteous would be Birdie.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, he's very much like Vincent. I thought, is massive into horror, that kind of stuff. I feel like if ever you're going to add another member, Birdie would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no, I've been a fan of him for quite some time. Yeah, he's also does awesome promos, and just like his whole image, like everything, totally, 100%.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, he really is. I just love the whole everything about it. Like I said, I will not stop praising the Righteous to you. I mean, you will see daily tweets of how good you guys are. So I'm pre-warning you now.
I'm glad you did
that, Jamie. I'm going to be checking Twitter every day. He will do.
Everything. But going back a bit as well, I mean, obviously you have the circus background. When did you decide to transition into wrestling?
I've only been training wrestling for about 5 years. So honestly, I'm pretty green. It's been, pretty recent actually. I got into it because I knew some other girls who were training. Yeah. And so I was attracted to it from, it is a performing art to me. I'm attracted to it as it's a craft, and it's an art form and an aesthetic, and so much goes into it, as well as a form of storytelling. Like wrestling, I think it's fascinating how, stories are told in the ring and through different kinds of promos and stuff like that. I think it's really interesting. And as an athletic endeavor, I was attracted to it because I always wanted to push my body really hard. I always beat the shit out of myself and just, always tried to go as hard as I could go. And wrestling fulfills that need for me too. I get to be loud and obnoxious. I get to slam motherfuckers to the ground, I mean, so it kind of checks all the boxes for me.
I mean, obviously, as well, speaking of having the shit beat out of you as well, I did do a bit of research, and you was trained by Drew Gulak.
Yes.
I can imagine that was a hard experience.
You're not wrong about that. Yeah, Drew was one of my first trainers, and I've learned so much from Drew. I got to train with him recently, actually. He was back in town for a little bit. I had no business being in his class, but I think that he, you know, considering how new I was, he saw that I was willing to try really hard. And it's basically 3.5 hours of heavy cardio, heavy bumping, like shitty bumping, like the whole time. And you basically walk out of Drew's class feeling like you can barely walk, and like maybe you'll be able to get out of bed tomorrow. We'll see. And I was like, oh, this is normal. This is wrestling, right? But I'm glad that that was one of my first experiences training, because like, you know, there's not a lot of things that are more brutal than a Drew Gulak class. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. He seems like he's not a gimmick with Drew Gulak. He really is.
No, that's really him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
we spoke to Alexander James from WXW in Germany, and he was trained by Drew as well, and he pretty much said the same thing.
Yeah.
You know you've been training with Drew Gulak, basically.
Exactly. Although now when I, you know, because we don't see him as much anymore, but when he comes and he does like guest classes with us, it's a different experience. He's like the cool stepdad, and like it's fun. We do like really silly gimmicks and shit, you know, and it's just like a good time. It's always a good learning experience. So now it's like a little, you know, it's a little bit different when Drew's around, but he's awesome. He's extremely generous with his time and knowledge. Like, honestly, you know, he wants people to ask him questions, and he wants to tell you what he's been through and everything. And super awesome. Like, honestly, like I really do owe a lot to Drew, for sure.
Yeah, it's someone I think he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. I said to Callum before, and Callum agrees. He almost reminds me of Kurt Angle when Kurt Angle was around 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He does the comedy so well, but you know when that bell rings, he could kick your ass and break your bones.
Yep.
And I thought I compare him to a modern day Kurt Angle. I think he's that good.
He somehow managed to make a PowerPoint presentation entertaining, and then also still seem legitimate. I don't know how.
He's just like that. he's got the gift. Not a lot of people could do that. But.
No, he is. Yeah, I know it's probably huge praise, but it does remind me of a modern day Kurt Angle with the range that he has, and like I don't think he gets the recognition that he truly deserves at the moment.
He's so good. Yeah, he's amazing. He knows so much.
So, I mean, obviously, moving back to Ring of Honor, then, I mean, how did Ring of Honor come about? When did you obviously get signed and get into the company?
So, yeah, Final Battle happened last year, and then Final Battle Fallout, the Philly show, was when I got brought in. I had no idea that it was happening. I was just told to show up to the show, like maybe they would need me, maybe they wouldn't, kind of thing. And I thought maybe I'll get a dark match or whatever. That'd be cool, you know. Yeah. Couple hours before the show, still had no idea what was going on. And then Vinny came up to me and was like, "So did anyone talk to you?" And I was like, "No." I have no idea. And he was like, "Oh, well, you know, here's what we have going on. You know, we want to do this Devil's Rejects kind of thing. And, you know, this is the group. So, you know, are you into it?" And I was like, yes, totally, 100%. So we did Final Battle Fallout, and that was kind of, you know, the first time you saw the Righteous together. And yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I'm so grateful. Delirious had a lot to do with that. He trains with us at Worldwide Dojo, usually about once a month or so. And so prior to that, I had gotten to train with Delirious a bunch of times. And so he recommended me to Vinny. And so there were like a few other candidates. And they brought me on. And that was that. So yeah, unfortunately we got a little derailed with COVID, but we're getting back on track now. So we have a lot to do. There's gonna be a lot of good stuff from the Righteous coming.
Was you a fan of Ring of Honor before you joined then? Like, is it a promotion that you've wanted to end up in for a while?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was a fan of Ring of Honor before that. I definitely followed it, and always, even before I started training with people from ROH, I just always had a thing inside me that I knew I wanted to wrestle for Ring of Honor. So everything aligned and it worked out that way, and really just couldn't be happier. Honestly, I've had nothing but positive experiences since I've been there. So the roster's awesome. Like, everybody that works there is awesome, and everyone fucking kills it. Everyone is there to like put on the best show possible and make the best product possible. Like, everybody's got whatever part that they're involved with in the show and the production, and it's awesome. And we've gotten really good feedback with the Pure tournament and everything, because that was
amazing.
So good. And that was kind of like something that was sort of lacking in wrestling, in pro wrestling a little bit. And adapting to doing the tapings with no audience and stuff like that. The production is beautiful. Like, everything looks so good with the production. So I think we're getting into a better place now. So
the production is second to none, really. We've actually just speaking to Joe Hendry about this earlier today. He was saying he's so proud of the production team in Ring of Honor, because it's like during the pandemic, it's kind of Ring of Honor's kind of found itself again. They're taking this time to kind of reinvent themselves and bring back the stuff that really worked. And Final Battle really did seem like a big deal from top to bottom, with the quality of the matches on the card, the production, the video packages. Everyone brought it. And he was just saying, like, it's right now, Ring of Honor is the best it's been in years. And there was a time where Ring of Honor depended on, say, the Bullet Club, for example. But when they left, there was like a void left in Ring of Honor. And I feel like it's taken a year or so for them to kind of find themselves again. But I feel like we're on the brink of, this new Ring of Honor, where it's the modern day stuff, but with the older stuff that works in Ring of Honor, like the Pure Championship, like you said. That's been an absolute joy to watch. So So what do you feel like's been the best, the best part of Ring of Honor during the pandemic? Because I know there's been no fans, but what do you feel like's been the shining light in Ring of Honor?
I feel like not having fans kind of takes some of the pressure off, so you can be focused on getting the shots and the cameras, and because there's so many things going on when you're in the ring and you're working the audience. You're trying to work the audience from all sides and get the spots right, and it's so much going on. I feel like the way it is now, it feels like a little more focused, where you can just kind of it's like, okay, we're wrestling, cameras over here, whatever, and then get the best shots, and we have enough time to go over everything, sometimes even like the day before, and that everyone has enough time, and you can be in like the right headspace to just like really kind of focus on just getting the best camera angles, the best edits, and just like the best overall package to put out there. So
yeah, we spoke to Shane Taylor before you, and he pretty much said the same thing you just said.
Word.
Yeah, totally agree. And also, I just want to go back and say thank you. About 5 minutes ago, you compared the Righteous with he was going for the Devil's Rejects kind of look. I've been thinking for days and days what you remind me of, and I just could not think for the life of me. And it's Devil's Rejects. That's what it was.
Oh, thank you. Vinny will be happy to hear that.
For days and days, I'm like, what is it? What is it? What is it? And it just hasn't come to me. And then you just said Devil's Reject. I was like, Vita knows. She knows.
Yeah.
She knew. She knew.
Heavily influenced for sure. I'm a big fan of the movies, and Baby Firefly is like definitely a big inspiration for me, for sure. You know, she's really kind of fucking crazy, and you know, she's cute and flirty, but you know, she's super fucking vicious too. You know.
I'm guessing we're all big fans of Rob Zombie then.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think everyone is to an extent, to be fair.
Yeah, we're big. Vinny's friends with Bill Moseley, actually. So we've been talking about you know, when things calm down a little bit and things are like vaguely normal again, you know, we would love to bring Bill Moseley on for a show, and he's behind the Righteous. It's actually really crazy to, you know, like I've watched those movies for ages, and like never when I was like a teenager watching Devil's Rejects did I ever think that Otis would know who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I mean,
a little crazy to me. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to do a show with him and bring him in. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the right time for that. So
it's the same with us to an extent. Like even when we're talking to yourself and Vincent and that, it's like we watch you on a weekly basis, and then when we speak to you, we're like, these people know who we are now. That is, it's the exact same thing. It's such a weird feeling.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, you can't tell, but me and Callum are totally marking out inside right now. We're just being really cool and British about it. That's all.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. I totally get that. Like, and I was obviously watching Final Battle, and you guys came out, and I just thought to myself, it'd be really cool. I mean, God bless his soul, he's not with us anymore. But I'd love to see someone like Sid Haig have come out with you as well, or something like that.
I know.
Yeah, I'm doing it again. I'm praising the Righteous. I'm telling you, I just can't put you guys over enough. But
I'm so glad. I really appreciate that.
What I'll do. Speaking of Ring of Honor as well, and Final Battle. I mean, obviously, it's probably the top storyline in Ring of Honor at the moment. I mean, what's it like being also getting to work with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett as well?
Well, are we kayfabing here or?
We're kayfabing.
How good was it to break Mike's ankle? There we go.
Yeah.
How good was it to break Mike Bennett's ankle? Is that better?
Oh no, that was fantastic. Yeah, and I will say that getting to choke out Matt Taven was so satisfying for me. I'll say that much. Yeah.
I'm sure even if you broke his ankle and stuff, you still respect as a great competitor, right? Like,
yes, I'll give that to both of them for sure. I mean, yeah. I felt honored that I got to hurt them. So
I'm sure you'd say that even if we weren't kayfabing, you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like that was such a great moment of Final Battle. Like, to me, Final Battle's always had those big moments. It's like a WrestleMania for Ring of Honor, and you always have those like WrestleMania moments. I think that was one of the moments at Final Battle where that was one of the things that you speak about afterwards. And I can't. There was so many good things on the show, but I feel like that was the one that me and Jamie went to first. And said, we've got you coming on the show. I was like, awesome. That's so cool. I think it would have been one of those moments that would have been amazing to have fans there. Like you can just imagine the reaction you'd have had. But it means next year at Final Battle, hopefully you'll get to have that chance.
The biggest pop ever, yeah.
The biggest pop ever. And how are you going to top that next year, right?
I know.
You're going to have to go crazy.
That's one of the, I really enjoy, we were talking about storytelling earlier, and that is one of, and there were tons of great stories in Final Battle. Like, honestly, I thought top to bottom, like, every match was solid. Every match had something going on that was interesting that you could, follow as a fan and get behind. And, this feud with Taven and Vinny has been going on for quite some time. This is going back a long time. And, I agree. I thought it was an awesome moment in the show. I was really happy to be part of it. And that's one thing that I just think is awesome about the Righteous and about the Kingdom is the storytelling and, the history that's there.
Yeah.
And, that, like what we did at Final Battle, like you couldn't just do that with just any match, that there's like a whole thing leading up, a whole thing leading up to that. So, and it's not over. It's definitely not over.
It definitely doesn't seem like it's over. I think, if anything, I think it's just started with you and the Kingdom.
Yeah.
They're going to be out for revenge, though. That's definitely going to be. Are you ready for that? Because
I'll be waiting.
You'll be waiting.
I'm ready for whatever Taven's got.
Yeah. I'm sure he's got.
It's like you said, though, obviously, like the storytelling. A lot of long-term storytelling, I think, is missing in the business. Ring of Honor do it so well, like I said, with the Righteous and the Kingdom. It was just it's been a pleasure to watch, and obviously the end of the match where you've got Taven in the ropes, and obviously Vinny, and I loved it when Vinny turned around and he said, "I'm not going to turn my back on you," and then he hit Mikey Bennett with a chair. Just little things like that. I just thought that was incredible. That was just so well done. It really was. They're just those little tiny things.
Yeah, those guys all have a great attention for detail, and I appreciate that too. And it is those things in a match that make it memorable, that make you invested in the continuation of whatever's going to happen. So
yeah. I think the fact that you're all quite, you're all horror film fans. You're all fans of film as well, like in general. It's almost like you can look at it as a horror movie, the story that you're telling, or look at it as a movie in general. The story has an arc, it goes from start to finish. And I think that's what's missing a lot in wrestling nowadays, having that story to follow, because a lot of it's so stop, start, you can't get invested. But I feel like with the Righteous and the Kingdom, there's a story there, and it is only just getting started. And it could go all the way to the next final battle, and more than likely will do, and we still won't be bored of it. So, yeah, I think from a fan point of view, it's just exciting to have good storytelling in wrestling. And I think that's really the pandemic. If there's one silver lining, it's allowed the storytelling to be fleshed out a bit more than it usually would.
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And talking of the Righteous as well, I mean, we've mentioned Bateman, yourself, Vinny. Tell us about Chuckles.
Chuckles, the pandemic has been hard for everybody. And I think he had some family stuff going on, and he had some business that he had to attend to. So, we wish him well, and I want to stay in touch with him for sure. Chuckles is a great guy.
With a great look. Another guy who just looks great.
Yeah, totally has the look. And and he's a great character. He works really well. And is that a baby hug?
I'm trying to stop him barking.
So unfortunately we haven't seen Chuckles since pandemic started, but hopefully we will. We definitely wish him the best with everything that he's going through, for sure.
Before we start wrapping things up, one thing I want to know is, like, the last few people we've spoken to, we always ask, what's next for 2021? It's such a vague question, especially when in Ring of Honor, there's so much going on right now. But for you, what's your goal in 2021? I know there's the goals for the Righteous, but what's your goal for 2021?
It's so hard to plan, like I feel like I had a lot of goals at the beginning of this year, and then it was just impossible to actually like work on them at all,
Yeah.
So I feel like at this point I'm just kind of like going with the flow, and I'm just gonna work as hard as possible and do as much as I can to move forward in a positive way. But I am like dying for shows to come back, that's like my goal for humanity more than myself. But
right. Yeah.
I miss live shows so bad. I miss people so bad, just like being able to train freely and, just little stuff like that, like go to an after party and, shoot shit with people when you're not working, just like stuff like that. So, I would love to get a title shot. I want to see Women of Honor to come back in a strong way. I would love to get a shot at the title at some point. I just want to wrestle more people. And just, it's I'll probably have a better answer. We'll see how,
that's as good as an answer you can get for a very big question. Like, I know there's no right answer. There's no one answer you can give to that. It's nobody knows what's going to happen next year in terms of like the pandemic and stuff. But if it's anything like this year, with the quality of the product of Ring of Honor, I'm sure it's going to be even better when the fans come back. I'm just excited, and I'm sure you are too, just to see what happens. And it's all you can do is really go with the flow. Like I said, no one really knows what's going to happen, but
exactly,
it's going to be a good year for wrestling in general. Ring of Honor, wherever. And when the fans do come back, I mean, we're going to be at every single show we can get to.
That's what I'm saying.
It's we've not had a show in the UK now since I believe February or March. Wrestling's just shut down over here. NXT UK's just started up again, but apart from that,
our only wrestling in the UK is NXT. So we don't really have anything else at the moment. So as soon as wrestling's back, we're at every show, and hopefully Ring of Honor can come back to the UK at some point, because
that would be amazing.
That was awesome. We used to go to those shows not too far from here.
Hell yeah.
Great shows every time.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely.
Good times.
Before we wrap up, Callum mentioned like 2021, but I'll ask you a question as well. I mean, who was your dream match?
Yeah, people always ask me this. There's so many amazing wrestlers out there, and like so many people that I would love to wrestle. I would love to wrestle Sumi Sakai in Ring of Honor, because she's been a huge mentor for me over the last couple of years, and I have so much respect for her as a competitor and a champion, and she is just amazing. She's like in my circle, and we train together, but to actually like be on the stage with her, I think would be awesome. And I would love to do like a student teacher kind of thing with her.
Someone I'd like to see you go one-on-one with is it's someone me and Callum have become quite good friends with over the last few weeks. Is Casey Cattell.
I love Casey. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see you two go one-on-one. That's a match I'd love to see.
Yeah,
I bet you that will happen in 2021. I just have a feeling that will happen.
We actually tweeted out the other day, one of the people for the Choose Your Honor hashtag, one of the people we want to see in Ring of Honor is Casey Cattell. I just think she'd fit so well in Women of Honor. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get to see that match.
I was actually supposed to wrestle her in a Fatal 4-Way a few days ago. It's in Jersey, outside of Philly here, and it was going to be me, Casey, Tasha Steeles, and Danny Moe. Unfortunately, the show got canceled because COVID. But I've been on a couple shows with Casey, and I feel like that'll probably happen in the not too distant future. So
that's a dream match for me. I mean, that's just a match I want to see. So fingers crossed that we will get to see that.
She's a badass.
Yeah. Before we wrap up as well, I mean, is there anything you want to plug? Social medias, merchandise, where we can find you?
Yeah, sure. Vita VonStarr on Instagram, and that's VITA VONSTARR. VonStarr on Twitter, and I do have t-shirts for sale, and you can DM me on Twitter or Instagram, either one, and we'll set that up. So I have Circus Strong style t-shirts out now. I actually have some hoodies too. If you want a pullover hoodie, I got limited sizes available in that. So hit me up. and I always like hearing from fans, and always try to get back to people. So hit me up.
I think I might have to message you about the hoodies at some point. I always will buy a hoodie. I just love them. So yeah, I think I'll be in touch about a hoodie at some point. If you've got circus strap style ones, that's badass. I'll definitely get one of those.
Thank you.
And I've seen the t-shirts as well. So you'll probably hear from me as well when I get paid, because I think the t-shirts are cool as well. So you'll
so much.
Please come back on in the new year. We'll chat some more. We'll talk some more horror, some more wrestling.
Absolutely.
And we'll rock and roll. But keep on kicking ass, because like I said, the righteous for me are the best thing in pro wrestling today.
I'm so
keep
glad
on
you dig it.
I genuinely do. But
Hell yeah, brother.
Have a wonderful Christmas and New Year, and we'll hope to speak to you again in the new year.
Yeah, you guys too. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
Vita VonStarr, thank you.